In this video, let's talk about escape characters. What we're going to learn with escape characters, there's 3 escape characters that we're going to learn. And first of all, let's introduce what escape characters are. In a previous video on strings, I mentioned how if I wanted to add a double quotation inside of a double quotation, and when I say inside of a double quotation, I mean inside of a string, how could I do that? So for example, if I have string s equals double quotation, because we need that, and then hello exclamation double quotation. Now this is okay. This is gonna be fine. But if I wanted to say string s equals and then double quotation hello, this is not okay, because what what Java is gonna look at this is basically it's gonna look at this first double quotation and then the second one, and it's gonna think that this is our string, and then our string is empty, which is okay. But then what's all of this stuff? And so that's just gonna be throw out an error. And so this is not the way you're supposed to go about doing this. How you do this is using escape characters. Escape characters basically allow you to input this double quotation, which is kind of like a special character, not really a special character, but something that we can use to insert it into a string. And that's what we use escape characters for. The 3 we'll talk about, so 3 escape characters are the backslash. We always use the backslash, double quotation, the backslash, and the backslash n. I won't cover examples. We'll go over to VS Code and we'll cover examples there. But what this does, as we just saw, what we'll see in VS Code, is it basically allows you to input the double quotation. What this does is it allows you to input backslash. Because if I do backslash, I just input a backslash inside my string, what the program's going to think is that we're trying to enter an escape character. But in reality, we literally want to enter a backslash. But again, our program is not smart. It doesn't know what we're thinking. So there's a way to do that, and that's using our escape character. And then this allows us to go to the next line. We'll see all of these examples when we go over to VS Code, which we'll do right now.
All right, so the first escape character we're going to go through is the backslash quotation marks. So this allows us to store quotation marks within a string. So first of all, we're going to initialize a string variable. So we say string s is equal to, just like how Pranav showed it in the notepad. If you want to say in quotation marks hello, so in quotation marks, we're going to first say hello. But if you actually want to have quotation marks in that hello, then we need to do backslash quotation marks. That is going to be an error. So backslash, if you do quotation mark, as Pranav mentioned earlier, that is not right. But the fix to this is we're going to have to actually add the backslash before those quotation marks. So now if you print out the result, so if you do system.out.println, so you can see the demonstration. So system.out.println and s. And if you run it in our VS Code, so hit run, we see here that's going to print out that hello in quotation marks. So that is basically an important part that we need to take note of. And now the next escape sequence we're going to go over is, now we're going to go over backslash. So this basically allows us to use backslash in a string. And the way we do this is, first we're going to, just like how we did for the previous variable, we're going to say string and say s is equal to, for example, we can say CS50 rocks. So let's just say CS50 rocks. And if you want to actually add a backslash before the CS50 rocks, how we do this is we do backslash. So essentially a double backslash. So it's basically going to have backslash and then CS50 rocks. And now if we print that out, and recall, this is only going to have one backslash before the CS50 rocks. And whenever you're printing out variables, we have to make sure that when you're printing it out, we always say the variable and not in quotation marks. Because if we do it in quotation marks, it's going to print out literally what is in quotation marks. So we need to make sure we're careful about that. So now if you run it in VS Code, so wait for run. So here we see backslash CS50 rocks. And so that gives us a way to actually store a backslash within a string. So now the next thing we're gonna, the last escape sequence we're gonna be demonstrating is the new line. So we do this by backslash n. So now we're gonna create another string. So string s. Now we'll use the same example as last time. What we're gonna do is CS50 rocks. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do CS50 and then give a new line. And then in a new line, we're gonna say rocks. So how we're gonna do this is we're gonna add the backslash n between CS50 and then rocks. So what it's gonna do is in one line, we're gonna have CS50 and the backslash n, which essentially means new line of text, is gonna give us a new line. And then in a new line, it's gonna say rocks. And so that's basically what a new backslash n does for us. So that's basically it kind of differently than the backslash and backslash quotation marks. The n basically stands for new line. But the backslash and backslash quotation marks is respectively going to input that into the string. So it's going to add the backslash, and then the backslash quotation marks is going to be a quotation mark. And now if you print out the result of system.out s and we run it in VS Code, now we see it's going to print out CS50, give a new line, and then it's going to print out rocks. And so that's basically what we're covering in terms of escape sequence in this video. Thanks.